Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Hare. Jai Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Kishore Kishore Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Govind Jai Jai. Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Giridharidhari Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Vraja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Tira Vanachari Jayo Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Gaur Premanande Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Stotsatsya Divine Grace Abhay Sharan Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Stotsatsya Srimad Bhakti संस्कृत कुसुम महाराज की जय। नमाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्रीमद् भागवत पुराण की जय। समवेत भक्त वृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled deities. All glories to the assembled deities. All glories to the assembled deities. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. Hai Gaur Premanandi. Hari Hari. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Sloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 10, Chapter 72, Verse 3. The title is The Slaying of the Demon Jarasandha. Hare Krishna. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Kraturajena Govinda. Kraturajena Govinda. Rajasuyena Pavani. Rajasuyena Pavani. Yakshe Vibhuti Bhavatam. Yakshe Vibhuti Bhavatam. Tatsampadayana Prabhu. Tatsampadayana Prabhu. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Kraturajena Govinda. Rajasuyena Pavani. Yakshe Vibhuti Bhavata. Tatsampadayena Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Kraturajena Govinda. Rajasuyena Pavani. Yakshe Vibhuti Bhavata. Samprabhu. Yudhishthira Vacha. Rajasuyena Govinda. Yasuyena Pavaka. Yasuyena Pavaka. Pradayana Prabhu. Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Govinda. Rajasuyena Pavani. Yakshe Vibhuti Bhavatam. Tatsampadayana Prabhu. What word meaning? What word meaning? Sri Yudhishthira Vacha. Sri Yudhishthira said, Krato of major fire sacrifices. Rajena with the king. Govinda, O Krishna. Rajasuyena named Rajasuya, Pavane, purifying. Yakshe, I wish to worship. Vibhuti, the opulent expansions. Bhavata, of yourself. Tat, that. Sampadaya, please allow to happen. Na, for us. Prabhu, O Master. Translation purport. Sri Yudhishthira said, O Govinda, I desire to worship your auspicious, opulent expansions by the Rajasuya sacrifice. The king of Vedic ceremonies, please make our endeavor a success, my lord. Srila Sukadev Srila Sridhar Swami states that the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's expansions, Amsha, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further explained that here the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's opulent expansions within this world, such as the demigods and other empowered beings. Thus, Srila Prabhupada treats this verse as follows in Krishna, the Supreme Personal Godhead. My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as the Rajasuya Yajna is to be performed by the emperor, and it is considered to the king of all sacrifice. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods who are your empowered representatives within this material world. And I wish that you will kindly help me in this great adventure so that it may be successfully executed. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally satisfied by being your devotees. As you say in the Bhagavad Gita, persons who are bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But our purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show them that they have no power independent of you. They are all your servants, and you are the Supreme Personal Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your Lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. Therefore, I wish to perform the Rajas Yagna. I wish to invite all the demigods, beginning from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chiefs of the heavenly planets. And in that great assembly of the demigods from all parts of the universe, I want to substantiate that you are the Supreme Personal Godhead, that everyone is yours as your servant. Hare Krishna. Om Jnanathimrandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurum Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah. Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yutapatakamalам Sri Gurum Vaishnavam Sa Sri Rupam Sagrijatam Sahagana Raghunatanvitam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savdutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhanvitam Cha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namusute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnobhyo namo namah. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrindam Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Srimad Bhagavatam, chapter 10, 72, text 3. The title is The Slaying of the Demon Jarasandha. Hare Krishna. So, in this particular purport, it's very nicely explained the purpose of the Rajasuya sacrifice. Why Yudhishthira it says, I desire to worship your auspicious, opulent expansions by the Rajasuya sacrifice, the king of Vedic ceremonies. So this Yudhishthira Maharaj want to prove the supremacy of Lord Sri Krishna as the supreme person of Godhead, uh, and his auspicious, opulent expansions within this matter. Please make our endeavor a success, my Lord. So anything we need to success in this life, we have to approach the Lord. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Yad karoshi yad dadashi kurusho mad arpanam. Means all our activities should be performed for the pleasure of Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, Yudhishthira Maharaj is praying in such a way that he want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice, which is the king of, and he is praying for the Lord for success in this endeavor. Hare Krishna. Srila Sridhar Swami said that the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's expansion, Amsa. And Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur further explains here that word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's opulence, expansion within this material world. So these two acharyas are giving different reference. Here he says, Sridhar Swami says the word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's expansion, and Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti explains this word Vibhuti refers to Lord Krishna's opulence, expansion within the world. Whatever we see in the world, or whatever expansion is, comes from the Lord in both sense. It is ultimate source is Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna is the source of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadiradi Govinda Sarvakarna Karanam. It's nice prayers which Brahma so recites. Brahma Samhita, we hear it during worship of the Lord. We recite these prayers while bathing the Lord. Ishvara Parama, either Purusha Shakta or Brahma Samhita. Ishvara Paramaha Krishna Sachidananda Vigraha Nadiradir Govinda Sarvakharana Karanam Chintamani Prakarasat Mashukalpa Vriksham Lakshavriteshu Surabhira Vipalayantam Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Ramasevymanam Govindamadi-purusham tamaham bhajami. I worship the primal Lord, Sri Govinda, Lord Krishna. Similarly, the Acharyas are glorifying, giving the reference of Rajasuya sacrifice, like Yudhishthira Maharaj wants to prove the supremacy of Supreme Lord Sri Krishna. And here is we see Hare Krishna. As such as the demigods as the empowered beings. Thus, Srila Prabhupada treats this verse as follows in Krishna, my Supreme Personal Godhead. My dear Lord Krishna, the sacrifice known as the Rajasuya sacrifice, yajna, is to be performed by the emperor and is considered to be king of all sacrifice. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is the emperor of the whole world. So he has to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice. So Srila Prabhupada says in this Krishna, Supreme Person Godhead. So Rajasuya sacrifice, the king of all sacrifice, and is considered. By performing this sacrifice, I wish to satisfy all the demigods, and who are your empowered representatives within this material world. And I wish that you will kindly help me in this great endeavor, so that it may be successfully executed. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is praying to the Lord that this sacrifice, which is the king of all sacrifice, I want to satisfy all the demigods and all the empowered representatives within the world. So please help me in this adventure so that it can be successful. As far as the Pandavas are concerned, we have nothing to ask from the demigods. We are personally satisfied being your devotees. As per Pandavas. As you say in the Bhagavad Gita, persons who are bewildered by material desires worship the demigods. But our purpose is different. I want to perform this Rajasuya sacrifice and invite the demigods to show them that they have no power independent of you. In the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, those who are attracted to material desires, they worship demigods. Actually, they indirectly worship the Supreme Personal Godhead. And Krishna fulfills the desires as one wants. So generally, devotees, here he says, Krishna, Yudhishthira wants to prove that the demigods also, they have no need to worship demigods, because generally, but here he want to perform this sacrifice and invited all the great personalities from heavenly planets, from the demigods to the sages and the kings, that they have no power independent. Everybody is dependent on Krishna. Krishna is the supreme. They are all your servants, and you are the supreme personal Godhead. Foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge consider your lordship an ordinary human being. So Jivere Swarup Hoy Nitya Krishna Das. Everybody is an eternal servant of Krishna. Either we have to serve our senses, either we have to serve our family, either we serve our country, or if we don't have anything, then we have to serve some animals like. So that tendency to serve is there. So actually, we are the servant of Lord Sri Krishna. We are eternal, part and parcel of Krishna. So one has to worship Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna Vande Jagat Guru. Foolish persons with a pure fund of knowledge console your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they try to find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. Similarly, Jasanda, Lord Krishna defeated Jasanda 17 times, but in the 18th time, just Krishna want to perform his pastimes as a king. So he purposely eh, he leaves the battlefield at Jasanda, because he want to save the residents of Dwarka from the armies of Jasanda, and he want to kill Jasanda separately, because Jasanda was very powerful when with was his army, but Krishna want to uh, yes very. So generally things like Krishna is an ordinary human being, but Krishna is the supreme Lord. Krishna performs these wonderful pastimes to show his supremacy. He kills the demons, he protects the devotees. That's the purpose of Krishna coming to this world. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य तदात्मनं सृजामि परित्रणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतं धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. uh, to annihilate the miscreants and protect the devotees. Krishna comes and to establish religion. So they are all your servants. You are foolish persons with a poor fund of knowledge. Consider your lordship an ordinary human being. Sometimes they find fault in you, and sometimes they defame you. So, so foolish persons, they try to defame. So this is the way of this material world. Um, Even Krishna, they find fault in Krishna here. They consider Krishna to an ordinary human. Krishna's pastimes are all transcendental. They are not from this material contamination. Janma karma chame divyam. Divyam is a divyam, like we say diksha. Diksha means um, knowledge given by Guru, initiation, first initiation. Diksha. So I wish to invite all the demigods bringing from Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, and other exalted chief of the heaven planet, the great assembly of demigods from all parts of India. I want to ascertain that you are the supreme person God, and everyone is your servant. So everyone is your servant, and we are all eternally connected to Supreme Personal Godhead. Hare Krishna. So this is a beautiful chapter where we read of how one day a person appeared in the assembly of Lord Krishna who was never to be seen, and the guards allowed him to see Lord Krishna. And he prayed to the Lord with folded hands, and he told that many kings were arrested by Jarasandha, and they were imprisoned and put in the forest and in the fortress named Giribraja. So Jasanda was very powerful. He had the strength of 10,000 elephants. So the kings are sending the message because they do not prove the superiority of Jasanda. They did not submit to Jasanda. Jasanda was on a mission to prove his supremacy. So they approach Lord Sri Krishna that for in the first three verses, first verse it says of surrender, and the second verse, three verses it says about no sorry yeah, fear of this material existence, and another two verses say about they glorify Lord Sri Krishna. So the kings are glorifying Krishna in this, and they are taking shelter of Lord Sri Krishna. Similarly, here King Yudhishthira Maharaj also, to perform this great sacrifice, he's taking shelter of, seeking the mercy of the Lord. Hare Krishna. In spiritual life or in material life, in our life, we want to success, we always need the mercy of two things: the Lord and His pure representative in progress. So, in all these wonderful prayers of surrender, shelter of Lord Sri Krishna, seeking the mercy of Krishna, and how Lord Krishna is offering this, welcoming Narad Muni, uh, and how the reciprocation of his great devotees with Lord Sri Krishna. When Lord Krishna, on the order of Narad Muni, he asked about the Pandus. The Pandus, Narad Muni conveyed the message that he's going to perform Rajeshriya sacrifice, the king of all sacrifice, and in order to do, he has to prove the supremacy, and he want to prove that the Lord is the supreme personal Godhead, and everybody are his servant. So, so this is nice. Then Lord Krishna, because the Yadus were not accepting the so in order to perform this Raja, Lord Krishna should uh, go along with Bhima. Bhima only can defeat Jasanda, and that also in a single combat. And Lord Krishna agreed to Narad's instruction, and then but the Yadus were little not in favor. So Lord Krishna asked Uddhava, Uddhava as a senior member, and then Uddhava knew Lord Krishna's desire, and he told about Yudhishthira Maharaj. So you have to go to Indraprastha, and Jasanda cannot be defeated all alone. And Lord Krishna went to Indraprastha, and then we see how the residents of Indraprastha all welcome Lord Sri Krishna, and they all became joyful upon seeing Krishna. How Yudhishthira Maharaj and all different personalities they offer their respects to Lord Krishna according to their different status. Like Yudhishthira Maharaj and Bhima, Arjun, they embraced Lord Sri Krishna, and Yudhishthira Maharaj became free from all contamination. And Nakul and Sadev offered obeisances to different relations according to their seniority and equals. So that's one teaching like that. And how the family members of Yudhishthira Maharaj, all Draupadi, Kunti Maharani, they also became very joyful upon Sri Krishna, and they worship Lord Sri Krishna. And all the residents also worship Lord Sri Krishna. So this is the overview of this chapter, which it begins with the messenger coming on the behalf of Jasana. Say, say the sage of the Nara suddenly appeared. Sorry. So this is a nice, wonderful prayers, submission of the kings who were arrested by Jarasandha. So he says, O Krishna, immeasurable soul. Similarly, also Krishna, Yudhishthira Maharaj also is offering his respect to O Govinda. I desire to worship your auspicious, opulent expansions. So Krishna has different names. They are different pastimes. He says, immeasurable soul. They're referring Krishna, O Krishna, destroyer of fear for those surrendered to you. So one thing is that despite our separate attitude, we have come to you for shelter out of fear of material existence. Hare Krishna. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, this material world, every step there is danger. Padam padam yadvi padam. So the intelligence is how to get out of this material world. So devotee is always taking the shelter of Lord and is the great souls. And similarly, the kings here they are approaching Lord Sri Krishna. Says, O Krishna, immeasurable soul, destroyer of fear for those surrendered to you. In other words, unless one is not surrendered fully to Krishna, he will be in a fearful state like this. He says, O immeasurable soul, destroyer of fear for those surrendered to you. Says, all destroyer of fear for those surrendered unto you, despite our separate attitude we have come to you for shelter. So this tendency is within everybody. Everybody wants to be independent, but everybody has to be dependent ultimately to the laws of nature, and the laws of nature are controlled by Lord Sri Krishna. Krishna is the source uh, of everything. Ishvara Parama Krishna Sachidananda Vigra Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. He is the source of material as well as spiritual. Everything comes from Krishna. So here the kings conveying the message through the messenger. First they are saying, we have surrendered to you. Despite our separate, we have come to you for shelter out of fear of material existence. So this first chapter speaks of surrendering to Krishna. Unless one is not surrendered to Krishna, there will be fear always of this material existence. As long, in other words, we are in the material world, everybody is in anxiety because we have accepted this body to be real, which is actually we don't belong to this material world. We belong to spiritual. We are eternal part and parcel of Krishna. We have an eternal relationship with Krishna. So this first is the kings are surrendering to the Lord. This in spite of our separate attitude. So this one has to understand this very deep understanding of the kings. Is very interesting. Very says, "O destroyer of fear for those surrendered to you." Unless one is not fearful of this material existence, or he wants to serve, yes, be as a separate attitude, still he comes to Krishna, then he becomes free from this material fear of this material existence. That's why it's Krishna. Srila Prabhupada's name also is Abhay Charana Aravinda, one who destroys all fear, like that, taking shelter of Krishna or his pure representative. So these two mercies required. So similarly, we see in this particularly the kings are approaching Lord Krishna through the messenger. He says, "O Krishna, we may destroy the fear of those surrendered to you. Despite our separate attitude, we have come to you for our shelter out of fear of material existence." People in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and are just bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. So, in this world, everybody is committing sinful activities. Anybody who's accepted this body, he's the proof is that he's going to repeat cycle of birth, old age, disease, and death. So one has to. In this, similarly, these kings are, I think, telling this. The first is about surrendering and the fear of this material existence. Hare Krishna. So deep it is. Uh, People in this world are always like we are walking, we are breathing, we're cooking. So much germs are killed, like so much insects are killed. So people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and are thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. So this commandment is in the purport, in the purport it says that our Krishna conscious movement is teaching that to develop loving service for the Lord. Or in other words, whatever action we do, we have to do for the pleasure of Krishna. Yeah, so in this, it says, people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. This activity would truly bring them good fortune. Let us offer our obeisance unto the all-powerful Lord, who appears as time and suddenly cut down one stubborn hope for a long life in this world. So this first one is saying, despite our separate attitude, we have come to you. And others, in other words, it says, uh, the it Lord Krishna comes as time and suddenly cut down our stubborn hope for a long life in this world. Everybody wants to drag on with this body, which is, but time is so powerful, it cut down our stubborn hope for a long life in this world. First, it says, people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. This activity would truly bring them good fortune. And in the purport, it says, whatever you do, you eat, you offer to, or give away, whatever austerity you perform, O son, do as an offering to me. So, in this material world, also, we have to maintain this body, we have to work very hard just to maintain this body. uh, is a fruitless endeavor in other sense, because ultimately this body is temporary. Here it says, people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about the real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. This activity would truly bring them good fortune. So only add one thing, is that is Krishna add in our life, and be, in other words, God conscious or Krishna consciousness. Activities should be performed for the pleasure of Krishna. Whatever you do or offer, give, or whatever you perform as an offering to me. This is the supreme Lord's commandment. But people in general are bewildered and neglect this auspicious activity. So generally, people neglect this commandment and they are bewildered and neglect this auspicious, preferring instead to perform sinful activities that lead them to terrible suffering instead of doing such activities. So, any activities we are in performing devotional service, whatever service we do, we should do for the pleasure of Krishna. It says here, everybody has some tendency, some, because every living entity is a spirit soul, they have some qualification they can use in the service of Krishna. The Krishna conscious movement is working to enlighten the world about this most essential activity of loving service to the Lord. So this is the bottom line. What is this actual Krishna conscious movement is working to enlighten the world about this most essential activity of loving service to the Lord. So Prabhupada also mentioned in the lectures that people should come and learn from the centers like that. So actually we have this program from morning to night. Morning, Mangalarti, then we have class, japa, and then class like that. So it's a constant engagement, and people see that they are engaged in this service. Then they will also take part in this program. They will also become benefited from this. But fortunately, we have few candidates, and it's because you're all coming in Bhagavatam class. So this program is little enlivening every day after day. So thank you so much for your participating in this program. So this is what Krishna coin is. So actually, it was like that. Devotees all engage in Bhagavatam class, Nityam Bhagavad Sevaya, Bhagavati Uttam Sloki, Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtiki. Uh, so this is very important in this process to progress in Krishna conscious. The Krishna conscious movement is working to whatever activities do we perform for the pleasure of Lord. Krishna conscious movement is working to enlighten the world about this most essential activity of loving service to the Lord. In the verse it says, Premanjana Chachurita Bhakti Vilochanena Santa Sadaiva Hideshu Vilokanti. Only by the ointment of love we can see Krishna, because our senses are covered by material, this chakshu. We cannot see Krishna with our material contaminated senses. Unless we become purified, we cannot understand this name form of the Lord. So the first verse of the sixth Ashtakam, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this 8 verses. Shiksha means teaching, Ashtakam means eight of these verses, which are the teachings. Cheto darpana marjanam bhava mahadavagni nirvapanam sreya kairava chandrika vitranam vidyavatu jivanam anandam buddhivartanam pratipadam purnamrita swadanam sarva atmasnapanam param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. It says param vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtan. Kirtanya sadahari. This transcendental chanting of Hare Krishna, this which is the prime benediction for this age of Kali Yuga. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Because one's heart is full with all material contamination, lust, greed, and anger, envy. You serve them best, they will never be satisfied. So, unless these things are not purified, we are purified from this tendency. Uh, but the process is one has to purify this. That's what Cheto Darpana Marjanam. Just like mirror is covered by dust, you wipe it, it becomes clean. Similarly, our heart is filled with all this material contamination. So that's what he says. Supreme Lord Commander. People in general are bewildered and neglect auspicious activity, preferring instead to perform sinful activities that lead them to terrible suffering. So this teachings Nam Nam Akari Baudani Sarva Shaktis. In this holy name, Krishna has invested all his transcendental activities, transcendental potencies. They are not different from Krishna. Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Sahishnuna. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind. So it's to chanting the Hare Krishna also, one has to become humble. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw in the street. So it's lower than the straw in the street. The straw is somebody tramples on it, but still it's tolerates all. It's winter, in all situations tremble. So this is the situation. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw tree. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige. Yes, another analogy is given of the tree. Tree in all weathers is standing still. It's giving fruits. It's giving us shelter. Trinadapi Suntaroapi Sheshna Amani Namanadina, and not accepting any honor and honoring everybody. Amani Namanadina Kirtanya Sadhari, always glorifying Lord Sri Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So this is beautiful science, very wonderful. It says people in this world are always engaged in sinful activities and thus bewildered about their real duty, which is to worship you according to your commandments. So in this particular Rajyasriya sacrifice, before there's two messengers. One is Narad Muni is coming, and one is on the behalf of the kings. The kings are submitting their prayers and how they are surrendering, and finally they are teaching the fear of this material existence, and then they are glorifying Lord Sri Krishna. So the first one is they are saying that because of our separate attitude, but time is so powerful, you subdue everything, you come in the form of that, like that. And then they say people are engaged in sinful activities because they are not engaged in the most auspicious activity, which is to follow your commandments. And Srila Prabhupada in the purport it says the commandments is a Bhagavad Gita. Whatever activities we do, we should do perform for the pleasure of Lord Sri Krishna. Whatever we eat, whatever we work, we offer it, the results to Krishna. And the teachings of Krishna conscious movement is to enlighten the people in this world to this most essential activity, which is loving service to the Lord. So in this, the approaching Krishna with wonderful prayers and expressing ourselves that how fallen we are, how we are so sinful to approach Krishna. We cannot approach Krishna because of our conditioned nature. But these prayers are showing us this, though they are so in a very high position as kings, they are submitting to Lord Sri Krishna and surrendering to Krishna, and explaining the fear of this material existence and how to overcome this fear of material existence. They are saying so beautiful teachings of this. Um, and particularly this wonderful Krishna's, you are the pre-dawn Lord of the universe, have descended into this world was to protect the saintly and suppress the wicked. That's yada yada dharma paritanaya sadhunam vinashaya. We cannot understand, O Lord, how anyone can transgress your law and still continue to enjoy the fruits of his work. So the kings are bewildered how Jasanda is very powerful like that. But your Krishna is performing his pastimes at 17 times. Jasanda is being defeated, and finally 18th time Lord Krishna is is performing his pastimes as a king, but its the purpose is to protect his devotees. And so, and then the kings are saying, because of our misdeeds we are suffering that, now we have surrendered unto you. So this is one another most important point. Everybody should understand this point, that we are going through whatever suffering we are going. Everybody has their own different sufferings. So this is all because of our past activities. But unless we don't surrender to Krishna, then we can say we are puzzled at the situation, cannot understand how is possible. It may be that Jasanta has been deputed to give us such trouble because of our past deeds, but we have heard from real scriptures that anyone who surrenders unto your lotus feet immediately becomes immune to the reaction of sinful life. So that means Manasa Deha Je Kuch Moro Arpilo Tua Padanand Kishore. Whatever I have, that's what actually surrender means. Our body, mind, words, everything is yours, Krishna. My family, what do I say? And come to your lotus. Yeah, so they're saying your lotus feet immediately becomes immune to the reactions of sinful life. Therefore, wholeheartedly offer ourselves unto your shelter. That means lotus feet. In other words, many times it is said lotus feet is actually the instructions of Lord Krishna from the Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam, or the form of the Lord. We meditate on Lord Krishna from his lotus feet. Then we go to the navel. Then we see the face, beautiful smiling face of Lord Krishna. Here it says, anyone who surrenders to unto your lotus feet immediately becomes immune to the reactions of sinful life. We therefore wholeheartedly, it says, wholeheartedly offer ourselves unto you, your shelter, and we hope that your Lordship will now give us full protection. So one, it says, one has to have full conviction, Avishya Lakshibe Krishna, that Krishna will protect me in all circumstances. So yes, we can see that all the great souls, like what was their fault, like Jesus Christ, he was preaching the message of God, but still there were envious people. So that's the nature of the material world. Srila Prabhupada's spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, struggled so much obstacles, but ultimately he became successful like that, because they were fully convinced in the shelter of Lord Krishna. They were fully surrendered to Krishna, or we can say this, yeah, Hare Krishna. So this, the kings, they are, oh Lord, with this corpse-like body, always full of fear, we bear the burden of relative happiness of kings, which is just like a dream. Thus, we have rejected the real happiness of the soul, which comes by rendering selfless service to you. Being so very wretched, we simply suffer in this life under the spell of your illusory energy. Hare Krishna. So this body is, the kings are comparing like corpse like body, which is always full of fear. Anybody who has accepted that body is always fearful. Is this corpse like body? what is this body actually? This body is made of matter. Uh, is ultimately it will burn to ashes. It will mix in earth, or it will be buried in the earth. It will mix in the earth. This gospel of body always full of fear. We bear the burden of relative happiness of kings. So they are, as kings, they are thinking the happiness is just by these positions. Actually, it's not by these positions, wealth, knowledge, beauty. One can be happy in this material world. It's required, but here the real happiness is of the soul. Thus, we have rejected the real happiness of the soul, which comes by rendering selfless service to you. So ultimately, one has to render selfless service to Krishna. That's the key in to be joyful, to be happy. Being so many wretched, we simply suffer in this life under the spell of your illusion energy. So one has to practice this sanskaras of chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, reading, hearing about Krishna, glorifying Krishna, and ultimately, finally surrendering Krishna and developing love for Sri Krishna. So this tendency, you see, simply suffer in this life under the spell of your illusory energy. So they are suffering because of their foolishness. They are giving up the real happiness of soul for some temporary conditional happiness, like kingly position and this. Hare Krishna. So nice. This most people make a similar mistake, desiring wealth, power, prestige, aristocratic family, and so on, in exchange of their for their own soul. He says most people make a similar mistake, desiring wealth, power, prestige, aristocratic family, and so on. The teachings of Shikshashtakam, na dhanam, na janam, na sundarim. I only want your devotional service, life after life. Whether I be born, Bhaktivinoda Thakur says that I may be born in a nature college, but I be born in a devotee house like that, so that he may be engaged in devotional service. He can hear the holy name of the Lord. He can eat the remnants offered to the Lord. Uh, so similarly, the kings also is saying, "Cost like body, always full of fear. We bear the burden of the relative happiness of kings, which is just like a dream. Thus, we reject the real happiness of soul, which comes by rendering selfless service to you." Very wretched. Yeah, everybody can we can be happy by just rendering selfless service to the Lord. And that's real happiness, actually. Hare Krishna. So Prabhupada also they chant Hare Krishna and be happy. Hare Krishna. So we and these teachings also we can you go through this very wonderful science where the devotees are very happy on seeing the Lord, and the Lord is also very joyful on seeing the devotees and how they are welcoming the Lord as well as the devotees. So the beautiful instructions you can get from this teachings, like how the kings also admitting the false conception of this material body, and they're surrendering to Krishna fully, and they are becoming free from material this. This is a message of a king who all hanker for your audience, having surrendered. Please bestow good fortune on these poor souls. So here, similarly, Yudhishthira Maharaj also is seeking the blessings of Lord Krishna, and before that, the kings also are seeking the blessings of Krishna. They are surrendering to Krishna. And then Narad Muni is appearing. He has a very golden matted locks. That's the second portion. He looks very effulgent, and Lord Krishna is saying, the three worlds are benefited. They are free from fear just by your personality. You travel all over the worlds just by the presence of a great soul. So sadhu sang, sarva shastra ke. All the scriptures says one should associate with a saintly person. Lo matra sadhu sang, sarva siddhi hoy. Very elevated, advanced devotee of the Lord. One should associate with this. One should be always in the fire of Krishna consciousness. Like this, we have this Chaitanya Charitamrit reading 9 days. This it's an austere thing like that. So this is also an austerity of getting up early in the morning, chanting Hare Krishna in the association of devotees, glorifying Krishna. This is real auspiciousness. This is real beneficial for the soul like that. We have all these programs morning coming all together and chanting Krishna. This program Srila Prabhupada has given us. Everyone should participate in this. So we all see this so much. We were emphasizing in this Bhagavatam class um, the importance on this Bhagavatam in Krishna's activities. Krishna is getting up early in the morning, and this is a nice, very nice way. Everybody that calendar we have on the wall, like so this everybody is engaged in this devotional service. Yeah, in this way, the morning program also is getting up live like that. So it's a beautiful this we see these Krishna's activities, daily activities, getting up early in the morning and touching water, and then he's touching all auspicious items. Then he's meditating on. He's serving the brahmanas. He's offering respects to demigods. He's seeing the sun. Then he's touching auspicious items like ghee, seeing the mirror. It's very beautiful. At that time, I showed this picture. Just we can go nowadays. It's an online place. Cows and the holy places. Radha Kund, Shyam Kund, Mayapur, Radha Madhav, Ashtashaki. Uh, so this beautiful come from front of the deities like that. The Lord is there. We have this beautiful temple, Kishore Kishori. We can have this darshan of Kishore Kishori and glorify Krishna. Kirtanya Sadahari Hidasa. Surrender to Kishore Kishori. Surrender to Krishna fully, body, mind, and words in this way. But should um, temple is a place of education. Temple is a place like when people come and they become peaceful. Like any activity should be that should not be a disturbance to the mind. Also, one should be very calm, peaceful, performing devotional service on the body or mind and activities. So the temple is a place like that. Everybody perform devotional service very nicely in a calm, submissive way like that, surrendering to Krishna. That's it. It's wonderful. So that's how it's possible, like here, selfless service, surrendering to Krishna, and understanding the nature of this body and this. So, so now Narad Muni is saying very nice instructions here, and even Lord Krishna is. Narad Muni is saying, I've seen your insurmountable power of your Maya. Even bewilders Brahma. It does not surprise me that you disguise yourself by your own energy while moving among the created beings as fire covers its own light with the smoke. So Narad Muni is giving an example of Brahma from highest planet to lowest. Everybody is bewildered by Maya, the illusion energy of the Lord. And Narad Muni is accepting this. I have seen many times in Sarma. Who can properly understand your purpose? You expand or the withdraw, which is thus appears to have substance action. Obeisance to you, whose transit position is inconceivable. Living being caught by the cycle of birth and death does not you see here it says, but you, the Supreme Lord, descend in this world in various forms by performing your pastime. You illumine the soul's path with the blazing torch of your fame, therefore I surrender to you. It says, living being caught in the cycle of birth and death does not know how he can be delivered from the material body, which brings him so much trouble. Actually, this body always gives us trouble in different ways body, mind, climate, other beings. So he says, living being caught in the cycle of birth and death does not know how he can be delivered from the material body, which brings him so much trouble. But you, the Supreme Lord, descend in this world in various person forms, and by performing your pastime, you illumine the soul's path with the blazing torch of your fame. Therefore, I surrender to you. So, these pastimes of Lord Krishna, they are all translated. Janma, karma, chame divyam. One who understands this in truth, he can become free from this cycle of repeated birth and death. So, absorbing ourselves in these wonderful scriptures, Krishna has given us the Srimad Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, and now this reading of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Everybody attend this program. Hearing is very powerful. is very auspicious. Or whatever activities, this Srimad Bhagavatam, attending Bhagavatam, glorifying Krishna. Similarly, here we can learn from Narad Muni also. He's telling it how can we derive, deliver from this material body just by absorb. The living being is suffering in this body, but by the Lord descend in world's various forms. So this then finally Krishna is asking you this to Maharaj. Oh, uh, then Narad Muni is saying here, yeah, your symbol of everything, your transcendental name and fame is spread like canopy all over the universe, including the higher, middle, and lower planets. So the lotus feet of the Lord, Lord's name, fame, they are all purifying the name or glorification of Lord, or remembering Lord, or meditating on Lord. Or in the lotus feet, from the lotus feet of the Lord, even in the material world, we see the Ganges river coming from. And in the upper planets, it's the Mandakini river. And in the lower planet, it is the Bhogavati river. Um, these are coming all from the transcendental lotus. This transcendental sacred water flows throughout the universe, purifying wherever it goes. Hare Krishna. Uh, when his supporters, Yadav's object to his proposal out of eagerness to defeat Jasanda, Lord Keshava turned to his servant Uddhava. So the Yadavas were little reluctant to the message of Narad Muni. Then Lord Krishna turned to Uddhava. And then he says, "You are indeed our best eye and closest, but perfectly know the value of very kind. Therefore, please tell us what should be done for in this way. We trust your judgment and I shall do as you say." So then Uddhava requested Mahu to the. So Uddhava took this order and replies as follows. That's what we say. So you have to go to. Uddhava knew the heart of Krishna, desire, inner desire, and then he's saying that Yudhishthira Maharaj is performing a Rajyasuya sacrifice and he wants to defeat Jasanda, and that he needs your blessings like that. So in this way, Jasanda is killed by Bhima, and there's a constant fight going on for 28 days in the open. Both Jasanda told that Lord, when they came in a dispute, Krishna, he told Krishna, "You are not proper commandment to fight because you left the battlefield. Whereas Arjuna is very young to me, Bhima is a proper commandment can fight to me." So this surrendering process, it takes many lives. But that is Bahunam Janmanti Jnanamanma Prapatyanti Vasudeva Sarvamiti Samatma Sudurlabha. Such a great soul is very rare, it says. Surrender to Krishna. But everyone in this material world is a servant. Nobody is master. Nobody thinks I'm the master, but actually servant. He is servant of his family, his servant is of wives, his children, uh, servant of children, and servant of servant. That is your the president is considered master of your country, but he is servant of your country. So if you go on as losing this position, so either we shall become servant of illusion or we shall become the servant of God. If we remain the servant of illusion, our life is wasted. So either we have to serve, everybody has to serve somebody. But it says A, B, C, D. Everybody is serving, but we have to serve the Lord. Otherwise, our life is wasted like that. We can use our talent in everything in service of Krishna. See, everyone is nobody. He's expecting some profit. For serving, he's expecting some profit, but that profit is transient and illusion. Therefore, he's servant of illusion. So he's expecting some profit, that is in transient illusion. When a person becomes his real to his real sense of transcendent jnana, when he becomes actually the person knowledge, then he becomes the servant of reality. Because I am servant always this way or that way. So actually when he comes in reality, he becomes a servant of Krishna. I'm always serving this way. So knowledge means then why shall I serve unreal illusion? Let me serve the reality. If my business is to serve and nothing to be, never to be masters, always to serve, then why shall I serve the illusion? Let me serve reality. That sense is called knowledge. So anashrita karma phalam. That sannyas life means one who is perfect knowledge takes sannyas life. Otherwise, if it takes all of a sudden, the renounce of life will create misery for himself and misery for others in full knowledge. So that's knowledge by the Supreme Lord. What is it is my duty to become Krishna conscious and serve the cause of Krishna. That is my duty. That is my real duty. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made it with in whatever position we chant Hare Krishna, and this very nice song. Just please tolerate me. Anyway, Gai Gora Madhur Sware. Ai Gora Madhur Sware. Gai Gora Madhur Sware. Ai Gora Madhur Sware. Ai Gora Madhur Sware. Ai Gora Madhur Sware. Gai Gora Madhur Sware. So Gauranga Mahaprabhu is saying, is singing a very sweet voice. Gai Gora Madhur Madhur Sware. Ai Gora Madhur Sware. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The meaning is of this Gai Gaura Madhuswari. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is singing in a very sweet voice. Gai Gaura Madhuswari. Hare Krishna, Hare Ram. Graha thake, vane thake, sada hari bole thake. Either in your householder or in a renounce order, either in a house or in the forest, always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. Always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. ग्रह तके वने तको सदा हरि बोले दाको सुखे दुखे भूलो ना कोई either you are in happiness or distress do not forget to chant the holy name of Lord Say Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So we have this Gaur Purnima coming. So this is the most very merciful incarnation, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who has given us this wonderful science of Krishna consciousness of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Gai Gaura Madhur Swari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sorry for my singing. Hare Krishna. Yes, but this has a very meaningful this song. Gai Gaura Madhuswari. Hare Krishna, Hare Graha Thake Vane Thako. Either you are in a forest or in your household life, always chant the holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Sukhe Dukhe, either you are in happiness or in distress, always chant the holy name of Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. Do not forget this thing. Sukhe Dukhe, Sada Hari Bolidake. Any comments? Any question? Yeah. Bahunam janmanti jnanavan mam praputanti vasudeva sarvamiti samatma sudurlabha. After many births and deaths, you actually knowledge surrender to me. Uh, Knowing me the cause of all, such a great soul is very rare. Hare Krishna.
Um, you'd covered the section of the imprisoned kings, and I was reflecting that their particular suffering, they could access Krishna directly through sending the messenger. And in fact, they do actually get to see him directly. Um, and just connecting with your class, the emphasis you put on, chanting the Maha Mantra. It would seem that in our particular circumstance, we so distant from Krishna because he's not personally present. So it actually is quite wonderful that there is the Maha Mantra that makes him so immediately accessible. So that's just a thought.
Yeah, it says after many births, one surrendered to Krishna. So Prabhupada says, Krishna, such a great soul is very scarce, rarely found. But any intelligent person, if they understand the philosophy and that my ultimate goal of life is to surrender to Krishna, why not surrender immediately? Why shall I wait for so many births? That stage is called real sannyasa. So it is my duty. I'm not forced, but volunteer out of love, trans love, just like mother serves the child out of love. There is no question of salary. The mother loves the child. Similarly, you can love the Supreme Lord in many ways. You can love the Supreme Lord as master. You can love the Supreme Lord as friend. You can love the Supreme Lord as child. You can love the Supreme Lord as your husband. There are five different rasas which are ethically related with Supreme Lord. And when we are actually in the liberated stage of all knowledge, we can understand that our relationship with the Lord is in this way. That is called Swarupa Siddhi. That is real self realization. That's real self. So everyone has an eternal relation with the Lord, either in the conception of master and servant, or in the conception of friend and friend, or in the concept parents and child, or in the conception of husband and wife, or in the conception of paramour or lover and the beloved. These relations are there eternally. So we are all an eternal relationship with Lord, and we can engage in Lord with this, and that's very high stage. That's called self-realization. That's Surpasiddhi. Yeah, this chanting of Hare Krishna in this age of Kali Yuga, where a spiritual life is very not so easy. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu it made it easy by taking we chant Hare Krishna. So spiritual life is not so easy actually. When we chant Hare Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has very simplified this process for this age of Kali Yuga. In Kali Yuga, it's not possible to perform spiritual life. It's very we have this body, Kali Yuga body. So the process has been made very simple. Cheto Darpana Marjanam, then Namna Makari Bodha, then after that Trinada Pisunichena, then other things follows. Bhava Bhakti, Prema Bhakti, ultimately Krishna Prema. But we have to keep in the fire of Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada says, give this one life to Krishna. So this is a wonderful gift of Krishna consciousness. We have come, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's gift of chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So ultimate goals should be Krishna and surrender to this holy name of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is praying, the kings are praying. So we also pray for the seek the blessings of Kishore Kishori and all the great souls. Jagannath Baldev Subhadra Gaunita and Shat Goswami Guru Parampara. Prabhupada ki jai. All the assembled devotees. So seek all your blessings to make chant this Hare Krishna mantra. We seek each other's praise Lord Krishna. Hare Krishna. You all look say something, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavad Puran ki jai. Samaved Bhaktivinoda ki jai.